Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Hump Day, Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Welcome, Frankie. You are number one. Number one. Number one. And Shannon Lynn Jordan, you are number two. And both of you are my super fans. Can you guys hear me? Yes? Okay, I'm sorry. I accidentally bumped myself out of the show. All right. So, today I want to talk about secrets, or how much does your spouse need to know? How much does your significant other need to know? And I know this is going to, translate into different topics in terms of secrets, whatever, because I do have a couple of questions. But is it okay to have secrets? Are you obligated to tell people everything? Why do some people want to know and others could care less? So, you know, I, for one, think that everyone to a certain extent, they have secrets. Some people have skeletons in their closets. Some people have big skeletons. Some people have little tiny ones. But I do believe that everyone has secrets. So when you meet someone and you're getting to know that person, welcome GP Matt. When you meet someone and you're getting to know that person, and they're finding out things about you, and you're letting little tidbits out here and here. But then when it starts to get serious and you know, you're thinking about marrying this person, or if you guys don't get married, you may be together for the next 20 years or be together for the next year or two. If you have secrets, or if you are holding things close to the vest, welcome, dude. Is it necessary to let your spouse or your significant other know? I mean, is it a requirement? Is it on a need to know basis? Um, is something going to change if you tell them your secret? Or is something going to change, if you don't? So, that's where I am today. So, I want to open it up if anybody wants to join, and I just have those questions. What do you think? I'm going to send out some invites, and if you guys want to jump on, you're more than welcome. If not, there's no problem. Just listening. Miss Shannon.
Hello, Solid.
Hey, Shannon. So, what do you think?
Well, it depends upon the degree, the level of the secret. With the spouse, I do believe that if it affects both of you, for sure. If it's going to affect the future of your relationship, for sure. But if it's like a little thing that, secret you got going with your girlfriend or something like that, that really doesn't pertain to him, no. I mean, I don't believe that they have a need to know. But if it's something that's going to affect like a major decision in your relationship, absolutely. Or like if you've been unfaithful, which I would never be unfaithful, I would break up with someone before I'd ever do that. But yeah, I believe everybody has their secrets, and it's a lie if they say they don't.
Okay, so let me ask this. So, what if you had a secret, and we can call them a secret or just something that you just, something that you've just never told anyone, or you've told a best friend or something. And say you told your best friend this particular thing, and your husband or wife or significant other, whomever, they don't know, but they find out through your friend. Um, is that wrong? Meaning, if they come to you and say, "Well, how come you never told me?" Do you get upset with your friend, or do you get upset with your spouse and say, it was none of your business? Or, I mean, are some secrets on a need to know basis? Welcome, Petty Deb.
Yes, definitely. Because no matter what, if you're a couple, I mean, you're still an individual. But I would absolutely be mad at my friend for betraying the confidence. Absolutely. Because if you can't trust your best friend, then who can you really trust? I mean, there's just some girl stuff that they just don't need to know, or I don't know. Like, oh, you spent some money on some clothes. That it all matters upon the relationship itself. I mean, if you have that wonderful open relationship and you can tell each other, that's why I think being friends, and you can love someone without being their friend. But it doesn't really ever work. You don't have longevity in the relationship. But if you can find someone who's also your best friend, then you should be able to tell them just about everything.
Okay, but your key word to me there is you should be able to. Um, you know how? Okay, do you have anyone in your life, or you've known someone who has said, where you say, you know what, I should have just kept my mouth shut and just not said anything?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Okay, so what if you're married to one of those people, or what if you're dating one of those people
then
where
it's just
they're
best to keep it to yourself, because if you know that they're just going to get mad and take it the wrong way, or just get mad in general, then it's going to cause tension and resentment and yada yada yada.
well, okay, well, let me ask you this. What if there were something within your family, your immediate family, your mother, father, sister, brother, whatever, and it was something serious, but it was between your family? Does your significant other, spouse, need to know?
Oh,
If it's
well,
not going to affect them, it may
no,
affect you, but
no.
it's something that you've just been dealing with, but it's like not their business.
Yeah, no. If it doesn't affect you, then I say, people do need to have their private thoughts and private, um, yeah. But if it affects your spouse, sure.
So if you had a family member who was on drugs, or they were in jail or something, um, and again, it was one of those family things where some families are just like, we don't need everybody to know our business. This is just between us. Would you tell your spouse? Does your spouse need to know that?
Well, I don't think someone being in jail is going to affect your spouse. Say, like, if your family member, one of
Yeah.
them is in jail, it doesn't affect your spouse. So who really cares if he knows? That's not something he or she would need to know. So, I
But
mean,
but some people may get upset and say, Shannon, your brother's in jail and you couldn't tell me. Why didn't you tell me? I mean,
say I was embarrassed, you know, because
so your thing is, as long as it doesn't affect the other person, the spouse or the significant other, then it's okay to keep secrets.
like I said, to a certain degree. I mean, secrets are still a lie.
What?
Um,
Wait, hold on. I disagree with that. How is having a secret a lie?
because withholding, even like I say in court, withholding information is a lie. If you
But
know
how
something,
am I with if it's a secret? How am I withholding it from you? I mean, if I failed, third grade, and I didn't tell my husband that I failed, the third grade, and then I was in fourth grade for 2 years or whatever. Is that a lie because I just never brought it up? I never told him. It's just my own secret.
Well, yeah, I would keep that secret too because sometimes people always form opinions and of other people, and if they have this level of respect for you, that they might think less of you, and just that's something that I don't know. That's not a big deal because they made it through, and I don't know. I I don't see where that would be an issue. I just think that everybody has their own stuff that they want to keep to themselves. But like I said, if it's a major issue, then yeah, I don't know.
Well, you've brought up a interesting point, because now I want to know what is the difference between a secret and a lie. But at the same time, if you're in a marriage, don't you have a right to privacy? If you're in a relationship, don't you have a right to have private thoughts that, if you keep a journal or something, that
Mhm.
you have a right to, put it away where your husband, your wife doesn't see it, or, put it up, when your girlfriend's coming over, whatever. It's like you may be a couple, but you are still an individual, and you
Exactly.
still, should have privacy. So is
Right.
wanting privacy, like this, is wanting privacy okay to want to keep your secret?
Absolutely. Like I
But
said,
you just said that a secret
There's
could be
levels
a
of secret.
lie.
Well, not everything. If it's important, something that's going to affect the future of your relationship or affect you and or your spouse, then yes, full disclosure needs to be. Like I said, there's levels of secrecy, levels of secrets. Say, like if you're having an affair with somebody, withholding information is a lie, and that's something that's detrimental to your relationship. So, but if it's like, oh, I went out and spent too much money on a dress and he might get mad, so I'm going to just, we're still okay, something like that. Or I went and had lunch with a girlfriend that he doesn't really like, something small. But like I said, if it's a big secret that might ruin your relationship, you need to be forthcoming with that. Because that, like I said, there's different levels.
Okay. All right. And Petty Deb, you said no. What are you saying no to? And Frankie said these topics get deep. Yes, they do. Okay, so while I'm waiting for Petty Deb to explain her no, because I'm not sure exactly where that no is coming from. Um, lies. Oh, lies and secrets are the same. Okay, you think they are not the same. Okay, all right. So I just lost my train of thought.
But in
Oh,
court,
okay.
they are. In court, withholding information is considered lying. You know that because they can actually throw you in jail for perjuring yourself for withholding information. So, in
Okay.
the eyes of
And,
the law, withholding information is actually considered a lie.
okay, and I understand that, but withholding and let's see, okay, Deb says the question has to be asked first. So, what about that, Shannon? The question has to be asked first. I mean, if I don't ask you, did you park your car in front of my house on June 1st, and it never comes up, and you just never told me, is that a lie because I didn't ask?
No, no. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But usually in court, it's a humongous issue. So it's one of those bad things. If you withhold information, it's a lie because you're basically saying that I don't know anything, so therefore I'm not going to be forthcoming with that information. But in an instance like that, I agree with her. If the question's never asked, you keep who's ever going to really know? So therefore, who really cares?
And this is where I say that in relationships, me personally, I think that yes, Deb is the fifth. I think that there has to be some level of privacy, and for a couple to respect that person's, wanting to keep some things to themselves. Because I'm pretty sure in every marriage, you all can say, oh, we're best friends. We tell each other everything. But do you really? I mean, do you really tell your spouse everything? And a couple months ago, we were talking about, whether or not, how much do you tell your spouse? So if I told you something and I said, please don't tell anyone, this is, I'm telling you, whatever. And I asked people, would you tell your husband? Would you tell your wife? Some people said yes, and some people said no. And I think that if I have a friend who told me something and it was just between the two of us and it was personal to them, I'm not going to come back home and tell my husband. It's none of his business. But some people said, well, it's my husband, it's my wife, and we tell each other everything. And I just think that's wrong.
Okay,
So
can I give you an example?
sure.
What
And
do
wait,
you?
hold on one second, Deb. I see that you're on, but I don't see you. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, okay, Shannon. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Say you're in a relationship for years, like decades, then all of a sudden you find out that and you were having periods of, wow, even from the beginning, we don't have sex anymore. I mean, literally doesn't touch you, or she doesn't touch him, and then you find out later that they were actually gay and on the download and used you as a beard. What would you think that that's a lie?
I would think that was. I would think that was a. I would think it was a lie, but I would think it was more of a betrayal, because that is something that is directly affecting me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gay, but it's more of a betrayal. I mean, it would be a lie in terms of our marriage has been a lie,
Yeah,
because
been a whole lot.
but right, but again, but it's still a secret that you kept to yourself, that you should have told me, because I would have preferred to have just
It's
said,
not
okay,
me.
let's
I'm
let's
like,
let's get the divorce, and
right,
you go and do whatever. But it is a lie in terms of, it's more of a betrayal.
right,
So I mean, and like you said, if it's something that doesn't affect you, or if it affects you, that directly affects me.
right.
But if it's something that doesn't directly affect me, if something happened to you before we met, or you did something while you were a sophomore, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
um, and maybe you went to jail. Okay, if it's something that's not going to affect me, you don't want to tell me. I don't necessarily need to know that.
Right.
So, Deb, do you want to say something? I don't know if I'll be able to hear you, but Frankie says that she can see you. I don't see you, so you might have to go out and come back in, because I don't see you on my panel.
I see her.
I don't see her. She's not showing up for me.
That's wow.
Can you say something, Deb?
You see my big forehead. She's gone now.
Okay. All right.
It's like all forehead. Actually, it's
please
very small
please
forehead.
don't start with the forehead thing. Okay, so GP man and Frankie, you guys have been listening. What do you guys think? GP man, I know that you can't talk right now, but can you give some input? I don't want to keep putting Shannon on the spot. What do you think, Shannon? What do you think? So
Yeah, chickens, get up here.
So yeah, because I know GP man sometimes he's at work, and I know Frankie, I know that you have your reason for not coming up, so that's not a problem. Okay, so Shannon, since you are the one up here, I'm going to put this to you.
Okay.
Can secrets destroy a marriage? And if so, to what degree? Um, like
Well,
some people
everybody
say
has.
that it's for, but that you can betray. I mean, it's betraying something if you keep a secret. But does it really matter if your secret is minor? That some people get all bent out of shape.
Yeah, exactly. Some people can let things roll right off of them, and others take even the simplest secret and like you lied to me, you and I can't trust you anymore, and blah blah blah. And yeah, everybody's different for what they can take, and what just is no big deal to them. Everybody's different, you know. Certain like anybody, there's certain people I've known that it's even the slightest little, like you said, oh, did you park your car? You know, would be like, oh, you lied to me. That's it. We're done. You know, some people consider, well, if you lie to me about one thing, you'll lie to me about everything. So therefore, that becomes the person's trust issue.
Okay, Deb. Again, I see that you are on, but I don't see you. Do you guys see Deb?
I see her,
I don't see her. I mean, can you say something? Maybe you'll come through, but
and it says her
I'm
mic's on.
I don't see her at all. I don't know I don't know what is going on there.
Mm,
Huh.
mm,
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Deb. I am not seeing you on my panel, and I don't know why. Um. Okay. So let me read this to you, Shannon, and you tell me what you think. Megan never told her husband Ryan that she had dinner along with John, a male coworker, while away at a conference. Megan said, I don't really see a reason to tell Ryan because it was just dinner. But I do feel that John may have had ulterior motives because he asked me out after we returned home. I just don't want Ryan to judge me harshly because he is very jealous and possessive. Is that a secret that you keep?
Well, that's a hard one because for one, the one you with went out to dinner with obviously had other motives other than just a friendly little dinner.
But it appears that Megan did not know that. She said that John may have had ulterior motives because he asked me out after we returned.
And he knew that she was married.
She doesn't, it doesn't say.
It doesn't say. Okay. Well, if he knew she was married, then he's a shit. So, yeah. If he knew she was married and he went and did that anyway, then yes, I would have full disclosure to your husband. But she was assuming that it was just going to be a friendly, little. If it was just a friendly dinner, then yeah. But you knew your husband was going to get all bent out of shape when nothing went on. Then I think that that's okay. But that means her husband's just a jealous person anyway, and he'd probably get mad at you if she went out with a woman. So jealousy is jealousy. Um, yeah, but if he came on to her and wanted her to go out with him, then yeah, that's not what she was expecting. Then yeah, I would tell you know your significant spouse, and you probably, if you're married, you shouldn't be having those type of dinners with that person because they didn't respect your marriage.
Is lying by omission or keeping a secret the same as betrayal?
I think so for sure. Yeah. Not the little
So,
white lies. So there's little white lies, and then there's the big whoppers. So, like I said, like I said before, like, oh, I went out and I spent. I was only supposed to spend $100, but I ended up spending two because I like this dress so much. And you know that your spouse would have gotten mad, whatever. There's little degrees of it, but something like that, when it becomes to potentially being unfaithful, I think your husband needs to know something like that, or just not tell him and never see that person again, and handle it yourself.
okay, so let's talk about the handling yourself thing. Your husband finds out that you had dinner with John.
Mhm.
Okay, but he doesn't know that John asked you out when when you guys got back from the conference. Um, and John and Ryan is jealous and he is possessive. Welcome, crazy lady. Ryan is jealous. Ryan is possessive. Um, do you get to the point where you listen to John just go on and on and on? Well, why did you go to dinner with him? And blah 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 blah. And who else have you gone to dinner with? And every time you go on a conference, are you sleeping with someone? I mean, it's ridiculous. Can his attitude make you want to end that marriage? Because now every time for your job and you have to go out of town, when you come back home, he is going to, give you the third degree. Well, welcome, shy lady. So what do you think?
I wouldn't be with someone like that. No, I would not. I would not. No, 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 no. I would end the marriage for sure. I don't. That's just too possessive. That's that person's insecurity. Usually, always, a skunk will smell their own tail first. So, usually, if you have someone like that, those people are usually the ones that are out cheating because they can't trust themselves, so therefore they don't trust you.
Okay.
They project themselves onto you.
Okay. And what I'm reading from this journal of this marriage counselor, and she says, like Megan, many of my clients tell me they're keeping secrets from their partner because they believe telling the truth will make things worse. So, crazy lady, you're on, and shy lady, you're on. What do you think about keeping secrets from your spouse? Is it the same as lying? Is it the same as a betrayal? Does your spouse need to know everything? Can you have privacy within in your marriage? What do you guys think?
Hey, everybody. I'll just say real quickly I think that everyone, whether they're married or not, um, if they're in a relationship, they should be able to have something that's between them and God, whatever that is. And as far as secrets, I don't know if you mean secrets like having a male friend that's like in a platonic relationship, but you think that your husband may disapprove, or vice versa, having a female friend and your wife may not approve. If it's on those terms, I think that could be, maybe, I won't say dishonest, but if you know that you have a spouse that's jealous and you've known this person as long as you've known your spouse or longer, childhood friends, and you keep in touch, I think that's a little bit different. Um, but if you do have a spouse that's jealous, then that's something that you should just probably keep between you and that particular person. If it's a, like I said, like a childhood friend, someone that you know that you're not romantically involved in. But I think there's some secrets should be between you and God, and whatever you did or whatever in your past, that should be between you and God and not with your spouse. That's your own personal business, and I think everyone should have that right and entitlement.
Let me ask
What?
you this: what does God have to do with your marriage?
Well, for me, God has everything to do with my marriage, um, because I would say that I'm a spiritual person. I have morals, I have values, and there's things
You
that
can
I
have
hold.
morals and values without believing in one deity.
That's absolutely
Hold,
true. That's absolutely true. But I'm talking about there's things in your life that you may have done that you don't want to share with anyone. Your spouse, your mother, your father. It's between you and God, saying, I bring God up because I believe in God. And if your mother doesn't know about it, or your father or your husband, whatever, then God knows about it and you would know about it. You know about it, whoever you were with that person, if that person is still alive. So I said there's certain things that are between you and God, and you're gonna leave it that way because God is omnipresent. He knows everything from my belief. That's why I said I invoked God because God knows everything. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay. So you think that if, say, you were unfaithful to your husband, do you think it's right to withhold that from him, but it's okay because God knows?
Well, I personally wouldn't do that because that's not my character. But if someone was unfaithful to their husband and they wanted to keep that marriage, if they knew that their spouse would divorce them or would hold a grudge against them for the rest of their marriage, so they should keep it between them and that other person and God. If they
Really?
know the
Oh,
yes, yes. If you,
okay.
okay.
in
Wait,
my
That's
opinion,
not very
in my
moral
opinion,
then.
hold on,
in,
Shannon.
in my
Oh,
opinion, if you are
oh,
if
that's
you
not very
commit,
godlike.
Wait, Shannon, hold
and
up.
let me say this.
Let her
Let me
finish.
say
Let her
this.
finish, Shannon.
Who
Okay, I'll
if
be.
you if a woman was unfaithful to her husband, why and she wanted to stay with that man, what would it benefit that man to know she slept with someone else? What would it benefit her husband to know? What benefit would he get out of it?
So,
Why?
so,
What benefit would it be for him if she know if exposing that truth to that man will cause him to feel like, ooh, wow, she really did that.
Well,
Oh,
he
I may
wouldn't
never
need to
feel the
have
same.
that
I may
bitch
never
around
feel the
anyway.
same.
She's an
Excuse
unfaithful
me.
hoe.
wait,
I'm
hold
sorry. Say it
on.
again.
No, please, no bitch
I
and
I
hoes on.
I'm
Please don't
just
use. Please,
kidding.
I
I know,
see.
but those are triggers for me. Please,
Okay,
no
I'm
bitches and
sorry.
hoes.
Well,
I see no benefit in telling
unfaithful
a
woman.
spouse that you slept with someone. I see no benefit in that. If you plan on staying with that person, it's to me, it's
Oh,
like it's like forgiveness. It's like you forgiving yourself, like they used to do, people that are Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but you go to confession. You confess to God, oh God, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. Okay, you've confessed or to the priest or whatever. What good would it do for the other person to know? There's no benefit for it. Why tell that person to benefit for what? What will they gain from knowing?
Okay,
Absolutely
wait, hold on,
nothing.
hold on. Charlie, I have a question for you. Last week in one of the shows, you said that you had a male friend who was
Yes,
gay, and that
yes,
when he called the house, your husband, got upset because he answered the phone and told this
yes,
particular person, "Don't call there anymore."
yes.
Um, do you regret your friend having your phone number and wish that he had never called the house? Wish that every time he you guys wanted to talk, you all just didn't talk, while you were at home, you all just talked at work, or if you all went out to lunch. Do you regret your
I
friend calling
regret
the
I,
house because of the way your husband responded?
I regret that his feelings were hurt. That's what I regret. I didn't think it would
That
be. I
that
didn't think
that that your friend's feelings were hurt.
exactly that the young man who I was friends with hurt. I That made me feel bad. I felt bad for him, but I thought that I had a spouse that would not react that way. That's why I gave him gave my phone
Okay,
number in the
you
so
are
I'm thinking
breaking
like,
up.
this dude is gay. Okay, sorry. I'm thinking like this dude is gay. He posed no threat to me or my spouse. So I didn't think it was a big deal until that
Okay,
day.
all right. Now I know Shannon wants to ask you something. So Shannon.
okay. I do know that humans, we do learn from our mistakes, and we are above all, we are humans. But are you saying that, okay, say a woman cheated on her husband and she was real regretful of it, and she withheld it from her husband, but and then went to God and asked for forgiveness. But are you saying she would continue sleeping with him, or she would just chalk it
No,
up to it was a mistake and I love my husband, and then you move forward and never do it again?
exactly the latter. Move forward.
Okay.
If you love that man, you want to be with him, move
Okay.
forward and never do it again and go on about
Okay.
your life, because that spouse has no heaven or hell to put you in because of
Right.
what you did.
Okay.
So that's why I say what I say.
Okay. Because I actually understand that people are weak and in the heat of a moment, and say you can be pissed off at your husband, and you just really made a horrible, horrible, horrible mistake. And it is, I can see your point there. But a
Okay.
long-going affair,
Hmm.
that is completely deceitful,
Oh yeah, that's terrible. That's a
and it
poor
would do
person with
nothing
no
but hurt him.
conscience.
And
Yeah,
if you
that's a
wanted
person
to
with no
stay with that
conscience at
person for the
all.
rest of your life, then yeah, then
Yeah,
I would do
exactly.
everything in my power, if that was that woman, to make it up to him in
Exactly.
Well,
secret.
I am going like crazy lady speak because she's been waiting patiently, and then I have comments for both Shannon and Shy Lady. So crazy lady, thank you for waiting patiently. What would you like to say?
Um, I forgot what I was gonna say because I got to listen to those two girls.
Well, between Shy Lady and Shannon, they both said a lot. So you
I know. I was just sitting here, just going, okay, just digesting it. And I forgot what I was gonna say, so skip me.
Okay, well, I will come back to you. I am going to say this, and then I'm going to go to Crazy Lady if she remembers what she wants to say. All right, so let's talk about long-term affairs. Okay, your husband has had a long-term affair. Your wife has had a long-term affair, and you all say that it is deceitful. It is deceitful. It is wrong. However, I wouldn't say that that person does not have any morals or whatever. Are they having this long-term affair because their husband or wife treats them like crap because they're in an abusive relationship, whether it be physical or mental, or they're just not getting what they need at home, whatever. So I would not say that again, I'm in, like yesterday when I was talking about stereotypes, I wouldn't say to be so fast to judge that man or that woman, because you never know what's going on in someone else's life. Are they cheating? Yes. Is it wrong? Absolutely. But you never know what's going on in someone else's life. Having said that, I'm going to go to Crazy Lady. You remember what you want to say?
Yeah, I like on the whole, like keeping information. Like I don't keep anything from Ross, like that's happened like with us. But there's like things that in my past that I haven't told him, and unless he directly asks me a direct question, I ain't gonna tell him. You know, and I'm sure that there's things that he's done that before me that it's really none of my business. You know what I mean? I wasn't there. I wasn't involved. So you know that's the way
And
I look at it.
crazily, that's how I feel. If something happened in my past before we got married, or met you, to me, I have every right to keep that close to my chest if it's something that's not going to directly affect you or harm you or harm our marriage. Now, Shy Lady says some people stay in relationships for children. Absolutely. Some people do stay in a relationship because, they are in it until their children turn 18 or whatever, and they're miserable. They're absolutely miserable. So, welcome, Jester. Thank you for coming. So, in something like that, if you tend to have an affair or something, whatever, and you're okay, put it like this: you're in this miserable marriage, and you meet this woman or you meet this man, and your spouse or significant other knows that you're in that your relationship is just miserable, and for whatever reason, neither one of you all are saying, let's just end it. Is that deceitful?
Can I address that?
Yes, lady, go ahead.
The only reason why I say that is because I ran into someone I knew from an old church we used to go to, and this couple is maybe 10 years younger than me. So I was kind of like a mentor kind of a person to her. Um, Gave her relationship advice. Um, and for
You
all
are
positivity, no
breaking
no
up.
stuff like I said. There was a person I ran into at a funeral not long ago, and I hadn't seen her in a number of years, and she informed me that she and her husband were getting a divorce, and she whispered it to me, and because he was nearby, and I was like, wow. And then she said he doesn't know. I said, oh, really? And she said, yeah, he doesn't know. And the thing is that he had an affair. He had an affair with a woman while they were separated. They've always had problems in their marriage since day one. Now they have a daughter together. They both had been married before. They have a couple of kids from previous marriage or whatever, but they had a daughter together, the youngest child that they had together. And I said, oh wow, I am sorry to hear that. And I thought that that she had moved on because when they were separated, he had a child with another woman, even though him and his wife were legally married. They were separated. He had a relationship with a woman. It didn't work out. He had a child with that woman. That child is probably 10 years younger than their youngest child, who she's maybe about 19 or 20, just graduated from high school. And I'm thinking that, when this happened, when he had the child by this woman who's not his wife, I'm thinking she forgave him. And she's been keeping this hatred for 10 years because this child that he had an affair with is about 10 years old. And I'm like, wow. She's like, well, I was just waiting for our youngest to graduate from high school, and now I'm going to divorce him. I was like, wow. So for 10 years, you said you forgave him for having an affair while you guys were separated, but now you're going to divorce him. I said, wow. And he's laughing and talking to people and thinking everything is cool. And I just felt
Okay,
incredibly sad for her.
so let me ask that. So yes, I mean, I don't see that as cheating if they were technically separated.
I don't either,
And
but she did.
so
But she did. She's held
and
this
then
over his head for 10 years.
but you're going to hold on to that for 10 years. It's like, who's the one that is doing the betrayal? To me, it's her.
That's what I
Because it's
thought.
like, you can't get over it. And
Yep.
Jester, I'm going to put you on the spot because we have all women up here. So if you want to come on and give a male point of view, feel free. If not, I totally understand. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just not feeling her because she is no.
Yeah.
Welcome, feisty one. Yeah. So Shannon, crazy lady, what do you think? Not a problem, Jester. So what do you
Yeah,
think?
you can't be digging up, dead horses and stuff and continue to beat them after 10 years. Come on. That's
Okay.
low.
So how much would you put up with before you end a relationship if you feel that your spouse has kept secrets from you or they have betrayed you? How much do you put up with?
I don't know. We all know I'm a very vocal person, so things get handled pretty quick on my end. Uh, I To me, if you forgive someone and you stay with someone after whatever, then you forgive them, move on. You can't keep bringing up that stuff. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, I'm actually, I mean, I'm with you. Don't throw it up in my face. If you say that you forgive me, whatever, don't keep bringing it up. Now, if I ask you if you forgive me and you just kind of, okay, well, let's just, see how things work out. I'm not going to assume you forgave me, and I will expect that you'll probably bring it up. Um, so let me ask this next question. Why do you think that some people want to know your secrets and what have you, and other people could care less? Why do you think that there are some people in a relationship where they just have to know, and other people is like whatever? And I personally am one of those whatever people. If my husband has something that he isn't telling me, you know what, he hasn't told me, I don't know about it. It's not going to affect me. Whatever. So why do you think some people have to know and others could care less? Anybody?
Insecurity. That person's insecure and they have to know everything because maybe it could be they're conditioned to prior relationships to one of, whether it's a male or a female who treated them wrong. So therefore they have that disposition with you. Like you said, your life experiences mold you into the person that you are. And so that means they would automatically have trust issues going into another relationship because they feel like, well, this happened to me now, so I'm on guard. And until they actually reach that level of trust where, that may never happen. So, but that's on the person who is adamant about, who wants to know everything. Because I mean, if you're secure in your own skin and your own relationship, you're going to let the little things just roll off. But as far as an affair like that woman who wanted a divorce, or a woman who forgave the guy who had the baby, if he does it again, I mean, that's on her. She, I don't know. Like I said, past relationships mold are the ones you have next.
Okay. Jester says once trust is broken, it's very hard to repair. And I think that's very true. But what if you're with someone? And to me, this is where, you should date someone and get to know someone before you actually say, I do, or even if you're in a long-term relationship. There are red flags. And if you have someone that is like jealous and, every time you turn around, they're like, who is that? What are you doing talking to him? Why are you talking to her? That's a red flag. But once trust is broken, it is hard to repair. But what if you are with that person who, yeah, you broke their trust, but they're that person who every time you turn around, they're constantly asking you, where are you going? You went to the store at 9. Now it is 10:30. Why are you just coming home? Why is this? And they're constantly calling you. What if you're with that person? Did you ever have trust at all? Was there ever any trust?
No, because do you know that actually extreme jealousy is a mental illness? It's called actually Jake LaMotta syndrome. And it's because they don't trust themselves. I mean, I would personally never be with someone like that. That's why I do believe a long period of courtship, maybe a year before you even decide to move in together. So it's like you got to drive the car before you buy it, Like I don't believe in, having the old conservative ways. Oh, you can't have sex till marriage. What if you get married and he really sucks? It's like, oh no, and I'm unhappy and he's unfulfilling me. And it could be not just sex, it could be anything. So I do believe you need a period of courtship to get to know that person. That way like I said, if you got those red flags, you need to go with your inner gut. Because sometimes what you want and what your instincts are telling you are not the same. So, yeah, you got those red flags, you need to bail.
Well, Shannon, you bring up an interesting point. Let's talk about this the sexual part of a relationship. So if back in the day, supposedly, a woman was a virgin, and I'm pretty sure there are still a lot of virgins now, whatever. But you get married to this person, and you're having relations with them, sex, whatever you want to call it, and you aren't happy. You know, as a man, she may not be fulfilling you. As a woman, you may not be fulfilling her, and people start to stray. And let's say you all talk about it, but for whatever reason, you all just can't get it together in the bedroom, and someone starts to stray and have an affair. What do you do? Do you stay in that marriage, because you still love this person? You still want to be with this person, but at the same time, you want to be sexually satisfied. What do you do?
Well, there are people out there. I mean, sex therapists. I do believe in trying, to try to make it better, be kind of spontaneous, try certain avenues, take them to a strip club, see what happens, which it's not really something I would go for, but whatever floats your boat. But definitely there's a lot of sex therapists out there who can actually teach people who aren't so good at it. And if you try and try and try and you're still unsatisfied, then it's time to leave. But I
But
do
is
believe
that okay? But is that cheating? If I'm going to go to a sex therapist to teach me whatever, am I cheating on my husband because I'm going to a sex therapist where I know
no,
it's probably going to get a little dicey?
no, you go as a couple.
What if one person doesn't want to go?
Well, then that's it. I mean, you're just staying in a relationship that you're just not happy with. Because I do believe there is the one person that's meant for everybody. Um, I don't know. If I wasn't, I would want to leave. I'm sorry, but it's very important to me. Sorry.
Okay, no,
That's just me.
I am with you on that one. To me, if you're in a relationship and you're married, sex is a major part of it.
Absolutely.
So crazy lady says, I got this one. So what do you want to say?
Okay. My dad, okay, in his later years, he took so many medications that, he couldn't perform in the bedroom. And I kid you not, because I asked my stepmother, did he really tell you that? And she's like, yeah. My dad told her to go get a little boy toy on the side because sex is just sex, as long as there isn't like, emotional entanglement, And he realized, he said, and I asked him, why would you do that, Dad? He goes, well, people have needs. I'm like, okay, yeah, that kind of would make sense, yeah. To me, if all parties are like in agreement, whatever, then that scenario could totally work,
Yeah. That's very
But
mature.
again, communication and honesty is the first step in, achieving anything.
All right, I want to go to Shy Lady because I want to ask her, since you said, that God plays, he's always part of your marriage. I totally respect that. What do you think about that?
Very interesting. Very interesting. I know I've seen people in wheelchairs and they're married, and I often wondered, about, I wonder if they still can or whatever. And then I wonder also if a person is being unfulfilled and so forth. But I think for some people, even though they know that they can't perform, if they really truly believe in that marriage and they love that person, I think that they probably will stick with it. I don't know about the going out, having sexual relationships with other people. Even though the crazy lady said her stepdad was like, go for it. You have my approval. That was very kind of him to want her to be fulfilled. But sometimes people can get attached or they can get emotionally involved with people when you start having that. And then some people can just say, "Oh, it's all physical. I just, get my needs met or whatever." But I don't know. For me, I would just have to stick it out. If my husband became, seriously ill or something like that, that just to
Well,
death
I'm
do
not
us
saying
part.
that if someone becomes ill. I'm not saying that someone, gets to the point where they're ill. I'm saying that you get married and you find out that sexually, that person doesn't satisfy you. And you find out early on in the marriage. Are you sticking it out? Or do you get divorced, but you still really love this person?
I,
You
I
know,
actually had a
um,
I actually had a friend like that, and true story. Uh, this woman that we're not really friends anymore. Keep in touch with her every now and then, but we at one time we were really good friends. As our kids were the same ages. When our kids kind of grew apart, we kind of grew apart. But anyway, she told me that when she married her husband, he was a virgin. She was not. She told me that she wished that she had never ever um, had sex before him. She said he was a really really nice guy, and she cheated on him. She had kids by a man who did fulfill her sexually. She wound up divorcing her husband and marrying this man who she had the kids by, and they were just bad together as far as their personalities. Basically, what they had in common was sex. They even married twice. They got divorced. One time they tried to make it work. The second time they got divorced again, and I think that it can be it can be a bad thing if you're not sexually compatible. And she said if I had never done it, then I would have never known that he was that bad. She said, but I knew that I had better, and it was definitely the factor that made her cheat and walk away
I actually
from the first
understand
okay.
that.
marriage.
But you know what? Say, I wouldn't, since sex it is important. But say like you have a long marriage, you've been married decades and the sex was great, and then something happens, like say he's in a wreck or something, and then yes, you definitely stick it out. You're there for thick and thin, sickness and health. Um, but there's other ways to have sex, not just with your, and that's where you try to figure that out. But
Okay, but what if you can't get to that point? What if, however you all, I mean, you all, and let's say you all really do put forth the effort. Both people put forth the
mhm,
effort, but for whatever reason, one person or maybe both of you are just not fulfilled. At what
yeah,
point do you just say, you know what? Let's just call it a day. Let's just
right,
get divorced. Or are you one of those couples that'll say, you know what? You do your thing, I'll do mine, and you can live with that.
right. I actually agree with that 100%. It all matters what one person can take. If you love each other that much and you want to stick together because of that love, and say you like your business partners or just more than that, um, then that's something you definitely have to work out between you. And but if one says, "Oh, I can't perform," but yet you can't go out, and mm-mm, then that's when it's time to go.
Okay. All right. Crazy lady, you wanted to make a comment?
Well, I mean, to me, like, if you took sex, like, okay, if you took sex out of the equation and that marriage crumbles because, there isn't sex or whatever, I don't understand that concept because it's like, I mean, sex is important, but it really isn't for me. Maybe it's just me.
But for
To
some
me, like,
people, sex is important.
but it shouldn't be like what your marriage is founded on.
Was
I
some,
mean,
but some people,
you
I
shouldn't
mean,
take,
for some
if
people,
that one
sex is,
element is taken out, you should still have a strong relationship. I would think, I would hope,
yeah.
you
But
know.
like Chalet says, it depends upon the person. So let me ask this, and crazy lady, I'm gonna start with you since you're on mic. Now, I was talking about, um, you know, how much your spouse needs to know. Um, Again, I want to know in a relationship, and I'm not just, well, yeah, I am talking about your spouse or your significant other. Is there a time when you should demand your privacy, where your spouse or your significant other is just all up in your business for whatever reason, and you just don't want to share with them, you just don't want to tell them, you just don't, you don't want to go around the room and share, at what point do you just demand, I want my privacy, without having to put a strain on that relationship? And crazy lady, I'm going to you first.
I don't know, because like I don't have that problem. I mean,
Okay.
it's there's been times when like
Yeah,
I've
she
walked
gets it
out
once a day.
whether I want it or not.
Well, I
But I
mean,
mean,
but I
I
mean,
there's no secrets between me and Ross. I mean, I don't like um I don't tell him. I mean, yeah, I don't tell him everything. Just like I'm sure he doesn't tell me everything that happens in his day.
but there
It,
are couples who have been married for a long time who haven't shared with their spouses, who haven't shared everything. And again, I personally do not believe that you have to share everything with your spouse. He does not need
yeah,
to
I
know
don't think
everything.
so.
She does not need to know everything. And the same thing with, and I can take that to on the flip side with family. Your family does not need to know everything. I mean, I know, people say, well, families are close or whatever. Yeah, okay, they can be close, but they don't need to know everything.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with that because I do keep important stuff away from Ross. Uh, not because I don't love him or anything, but it's because I do love him and I don't want him to worry. There's nothing he can do to change it, but he will worry needlessly. So I just don't tell him. It's like,
Okay. Let's see. Crucible says once people reach a certain age, sex pretty much wands anyway. And hold on, Crucible I missed
that's a
your.
myth.
Let me do this. I think that's probably. I agree with that. That's not necessarily true. And let's see. Everyone should be able to still have individuality, and that's true. I think that when people get married, people think that you're like joined at the hip, like you have to do everything with your husband, you have to do everything with your wife. Like I was saying a couple of weeks ago, like you all go to the market. Do you have to go grocery shopping together? Can he not go by himself? Can you not go by yourself? I mean, at what point do you all like break the cord and you do things by yourself, he can do things by himself, and then so Crucible Man, what would you like to say or add?
Yeah, as far as privacy is concerned, I think that's paramount in any relationship, in any situation, whether it's friendship or romantic relationship, families, whatever it happens to be. I think, I forget who typed it in the chat box, but we all need to maintain some semblance of individuality. And one of the reasons, and I've wrestled with it my whole life, one of the reasons I never got married was I was very concerned about losing control of my personal space. In other words, you can't, once you're married, without being rude, and I was in some long-term relationships where they were long distance and we would come and visit each other. And my girlfriend at the time, she'd come for maybe 8 or 9 days. And this particular woman, when I would be sitting on the couch watching TV, she would sit down right next to me and just say, "What are you watching?" And just sit there for, and I'm kind of like, do, 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 do. And, that's one example, but I was afraid of the privacy thing. I was afraid of having to relinquish my entire life to another person. And in order to get any privacy, I would have to be the one to speak up, which creates a little bit of friction, which creates a little bit of bad blood, which creates a little bit of don't you love me anymore. So yeah, I think people need to be more intuitive about what their spouse needs, and everybody can benefit from it. A little too much togetherness, what's that old saying? Familiarity breeds contempt. I mean, a little bit of distance, I think, benefits everybody.
And I would say that is true. I mean, I don't want my husband, around me constantly. It's like, you go over there. This house is big enough for us to have our own space. Whatever. But there are some people who they do. It's like, what are you watching? What are you doing? It's like they're just constantly there. And I think that you should have some semblance of privacy. And the same thing with, if there are things that you choose to tell your spouse, if there are things that you don't, or if there are things that happen before you all met, whatever, do they really need to know? What are they going to benefit if you tell them? I mean, they haven't known so far. Do you really need to tell them something, unless it's something important, maybe about one of the kids, or whatever. But do they really need to know everything, and do they really need to know everything about you? So, my last question is, going back to my first question, or my second question, are you obligated to tell people everything? And I'm not just going to talk about your spouse or your significant other, but your coworker, your friends. I mean, I have some friends that, it's like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? What what did she say? And I'm constantly saying, mind your business, none of your business, whatever. Why do people feel that you're obligated to tell them? And I'll start with Shannon.
Well, I don't know. I really like having the idea of having a best girlfriend that I can tell absolutely everything to. Someone who doesn't judge me, good or bad, because sometimes it's just good for I don't know, your inner self to be able to tell that person everything. But as far as, like you said, I do like my privacy, and I'm kind of with Crucible Man on that. I believe a good relationship, the best that lasts in longevity, is have separate bedrooms, separate closets, separate bathrooms, and then you just kind of meet in between. If you want to be together or sleep together, that's fine. If you don't, I like to retreat to my own room where I can have my own privacy. And I think that's the secret to longevity in a relationship, to where you don't feel crowded. I'm exactly the same way he is. That's another reason probably why I've never been married. But I've been asked 3 times, but I never could do it. And but I like having my space. It's not that I'm hiding or hiding anything, but it's just, I don't know. I like it that way. That's
And Shannon, you make a good point, because I'm telling you, if my husband and I did not have separate bathrooms, I
uh-huh.
think we probably would have been divorced as soon as we
Yeah,
got married. We have always had separate bathrooms. We have separate. We don't keep our clothes in the same in the same closet. But that bathroom thing, oh yeah, not
mhm,
going to share a bathroom, and not just with a man, with anyone.
right.
So, crazy lady, I'm going to move to you. Do you think that you should be obligated to tell people everything?
No, 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 no. Because yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm just
So,
nosy. So, and I tell people, you didn't gotta tell me. I mean, it's none of my business. I was just, being nosy.
all right, all right. Shy lady, what do you think?
No, you don't have to tell anyone everything. And I mean, there's some things that you should keep to yourself, and there's some. I think everybody got something that they should not just tell everyone. Not that they're passing judgment on them or whatever, but just some things just need to be kept to themselves. But if a friend shared something with you um, privately, you should respect that friend and not tell anyone else that. I know I always taught my kids to be like that if someone tells you something, because even my own kids, I find out that I might know something about one of them and I wouldn't tell the other one. And then later on, I would find out that they finally told them or something. It's just, it's just respect.
Well, yeah, and I will say when it comes to children, my son can keep a secret. Ooh, he can keep a secret. So if I want to tell anything to anybody, I would tell my son because he can keep a secret. Crucible man, what do you have to say about being obligated?
No, obligated is a strong word. Obligated means you have to do something out of some moral compass or some duty or something. So no, I don't think you're obligated, but I think what happens a lot of times when people think you should be obligated is what happened or what did they say, or if you were someplace where they weren't and they're looking for the dirty, you they are sometimes measuring your relationship or your friendship or what has been done in the past. In other words, you've always told me these things before. What's changed now? Aren't we still friends? Or, don't you trust me? Are you afraid I'm going to tell somebody else? So it's easy for the person who thinks the other person's obligated to turn it back on them and maybe guilt them into it by testing or measuring the quality of the relationship and saying, well, you have to tell me because we've been friends for so long, kind of thing. And then the other person might say, okay, well, I guess I can tell you, kind of a thing. But yeah, you should never put pressure on anybody to do anything. If they don't do it of their own free will, then you should just let it alone. That goes for privacy. That goes for, gossip or anything. I mean, if people want to do something, they'll do it. We still have to have our individual ability to make our own decisions.
Okay, all right. Well, Pook, thank you for coming, but we're actually about to wrap up. So I'm just going to go around the room once more and ask everybody for their 2 cents, 5 cents, $1.50 words of wisdom, starting with Shannon. Do you have anything you would like to add before we take it off?
Be true to yourself and others, and believe me, you will be rewarded with your own happiness.
Oh, that was sweet. It was. Crazy lady.
I was typing in, and always the response always works for me is, "I'm sorry, that's classified information." Just
Can
leave it
you
at that.
Are you talking to us? Or you talking to somebody else?
Yeah,
She would have to
it
kill
said.
you.
I always said no. No, I just say, "I'm sorry, that's classified information."
Okay. All right, Miss Shy Lady, what would you like to add?
It's okay to be who you are, um, and not have expectations of someone else. So it's kind of like that, just respect thing that I like to say.
Okay, Crucible Man.
I guess just be honest with yourself about what you are capable of. Be honest with the people around you. Be respectful of their space. Kind of be a little bit self-aware. And if something's not going the way you would like it to, speak up. There's nothing that ever good comes from keeping things to yourself. So I think if there are issues or situations where things are not going the way you would like them to, then speak up. Have enough respect for the other person to air whatever grievances and give them a chance to fix whatever you've identified as wrong.
Okay, all right. Well, again, you guys, this was a topic that was interesting. You know, um, Feisty One once said that you learn a lot about people, from their opinions and what have you, and every time you guys share things, it is interesting. It is interesting to hear what people have to say, and again, you may not necessarily think the same as someone, but everyone, you guys have things that you guys feel strongly about, and I respect each and every one of you. So on that note, thank you, Frankie. On that note, I just want to say again, speak your truth, go where the wind takes you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good afternoon. Bye. Bye, Shy Lady. And Crucible Man, you were late. You were late. Just saying.
That's $5 in the late jar.
And Feisty One, you were late too. So I missed most, but enjoyed what I heard. Well, if you had come earlier, you would have been able to enjoy everything. Do I have to stand in the corner? No. Like Shannon said, put $5 in the late jar, and
That's
Feisty one
right.
that includes you too.
Yep. I wasn't late.
No, you weren't. But Shannon, I'm sorry. Frankie was number 1, and you were number 2.
I'm still a super fan.
Yes, you are a super fan. Yeah, Crystal, man, what's going on with that super fan? That super fan status. Feisty one is Lisa's super fan. Shannon's a super fan.
Yep.
Frankie's a super fan. He's working on it. Now, how hard is it to become a super fan? It's just one click, but that's okay. That's okay. You don't want to give me a click. Totally
It's only,
understand.
what is it, $10?
No, it's part of the thingy. It's part of the thingy.
Yeah, but it costs money.
If you use it part of your thingy. If you use it
No, I
part
know
of
it's part of your thingy, but it still costs money. But you're worth it. I support you.
Oh boy. Thingy. Now it sounds like we're back to the whole sex thing with the thingy.
The thingy.
Oh boy. Hello, Dawes.
Is that kind of like, get that thing away from me?
Something like that. Get that thing away from you. Okay, Crystal, man. I will school you later on how to do it. Just like I had to school Feisty one how to do it. I hope I don't have to school you all on anything else.
Oh, I need to DM you. So
Okay. I will
Okay.
see you in a bit.
okay, honey. Bye.
All right. And Miss Feisty, I will be sending something your way pretty soon. So you and your daughter will be happy. And Frankie, as always, girl, you are up to 15,112. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I will check you guys out tomorrow. Bye.